Mama won't leave the home, and Papa was a rolling stone. What's going on, everybody? This your boy, Dr. Will Rogers, a.k.a. Master Teacher 33. Today is Wealthy Wednesday, December the 28th, 2022. Time is Tokyo time, 3:05 Central. My brothers and my sisters, observation versus visualization. Observation versus visualization. There is the secret to over and understanding the Master Teacher 33 Millionaire Program. Again, cost is $1,000. We're going to get the party started on around January the 6th. We may go a little sooner or a little later, depending on the number of people that will get signed up. The program includes, about 10 of the previous things that we've done, the Business Acceleration Program, 7 Seeds of Wealth, 3 Keys. So in other words, we're going through all of the things that I did to get me to where I'm at today. And so you will have access to, you may not need all of it, but I will make it all available to you in addition to the 101s. Remember, we're focused on the 3 primary keys, which is found in what we're talking about today, which is another one of the bullets that we use to empower people instead of killing people. So we're going to be shooting people with bullets, but these bullets are going to amplify people instead of destroy people. And that is what we've been talking about, is establishing your routine, establishing a mental disposition where you don't allow external to override internal, and then to speak with your desires already fulfilled, which is past tense, which is another way of saying headline, hook, and bullet, which is another way of saying get attention, be memorable, and be beneficial. So we're all saying the same thing. On paper, you got to have a way for people to connect with you. We call that a corporation. I just use that word because it's a term that's associated with business. That's the way that you get attention. I can find you if you got a corporation. I can Google your name. So we got to do that first. After we do that, then we got to put your spell in words. Because spelling words is how you spell in words. In other words, you got to be able to influence. And the way that you influence people is through this thing that we call communication. The ability for you to be able to communicate, to be able to articulate. My sheep follow my voice. That's what the scripture says. So your voice is going to attract your tribe because your voice contains your vibe. And then we'll be able to give them your bullets or your benefits. That's how you become a millionaire. Or that's how I became a millionaire. So I want to keep this zero resistance. We want to make, like we talked about yesterday, and my voice is a little better than what it was yesterday. I'm still not back 100%. But as you all know, one monkey don't stop the show. The party must go on. So I'm sipping on my hot toddy, and we're going to make it do what it do. So before we get to revealing the Millionaire Secrets, and we'll be doing a few of these as we prepare for the unveiling of the Millionaire Maker Program, which is, again, another part of the Millionaire Club, which is the Life Management University Millionaire Club, which is hopefully you're a part of that as well. And then you should be able to join this, because what we are doing is helping you over and understand the power of your ability to observe and the power of your ability to visualize. As we mentioned yesterday, or the day before yesterday, when we talked about getting into your uniqueness, which allows you to operate with authentic adaptability. The millionaires of tomorrow will all be able to authentically adapt. So that's what we're going to be doing in 2023, is connecting you with your unique, authentic, adaptability. Nobody can adapt because they don't have your ability. Nobody has your unique authenticity. So the AI computer can mimic your pattern until you get rid of your pattern. Then the AI computer is lost. They got to start now. They got to reprogram the computer to pick up your new. Because remember, you're an agent of change. The new millionaires are change agents. That's how I stay relevant. What worked for me 30 days ago, not working now. That's how often or how fast the market changes now. You guys see that Canva came out with their new Canva docs? If you got the Canva Pro account, you should check it out. It does the same thing as the AI chat, GPT. Type in a phrase, bam, it spits out the document. This business is crazy. So for writers and content creators like myself, kind of like, what happened when Uber came out and they was going to get the taxis. Y'all saw that series, it wasn't a movie, which was a true story based upon what Uber had to go through when it was going up against the taxis because they put taxi drivers out of business. Now, does anybody see a yellow cab? Here in Texas, I should say. Now, they made like New York. I don't know. I don't live in New York. All I know is I can't remember the last time I seen a yellow cab. I remember when I was really young, we'd have blockbuster videos. I used to take my kids to go, okay, y'all, we're going to do movie night tonight. Let's go pick out a video. We drive over there, stand in line, get a video, go home, pop it in the VCR. Anybody got a VCR? What happened to the VCR? What happened to, has anybody seen a cell phone? I mean a cell phone, a payphone. There used to be payphones just like on almost every corner. I can't remember the last time I've seen a payphone. What happened to all of that? Well, technology, industry, change. So to keep you from being a dinosaur, you got to be able to do the same thing that I'm doing. The fact that you are here is the proof or the indication that you have that understanding and understanding of how important it is that you stay relevant because times change. You may be relevant today, but are you going to be relevant tomorrow? And how do you stay above or ahead of the game? You can't change after the game has changed. You're too late. You got to be ahead of the curve. That is where the over and understanding of observation and visualization comes in. Now, Sister Sandra had a great question before we break down the definitions about the Master Teacher 33 Millionaire program. In addition to, each one of the programs that I mentioned, those 10 programs that I mentioned before, especially the 65-day Master Teacher 33 Business School. Man, that puppy contains pretty much everything you need, step by step. Also, the 30 steps in 30 days, that's on my website, that's included. So there's so much information that's included. So you guys know, how do you join? Well, again, we're taking the first 25 people. You just simply make the payment. So all you got to do to join is just make the payment of the $1,000 or the $999. That's the pay in full. We do got the payment of $500. So you can make a payment of $500 today. 30 days later, you make the other payment of $500. Excuse me. And the last payment option is the 4-month option, where you just make $250 payment today, and then on the anniversary date, you make the other payment. So every month, you make the payment of $250 until you get to the $1,000, and that takes care of the payments for the Millionaire Maker program. Out of everything that you will be learning or being reminded, the most important thing is visualization is always promoted over observation. That is incorrect. It's not incorrect as is, meaning that it is wrong. It's incorrect, meaning that it's not the shortest distance from point A to point B. I don't know if everybody in the call is like me. Some of you guys may want to reduplicate what I did. Maybe you want to take the scenic route. I'm going to put my money on the fact that I don't think so. I don't think you want to take a 40-year journey that can be taken in 40 days. Kind of like the children of Egypt, remember? They spent 40 years in the desert. And it should have took them 40 days. But the big G had to wait until all the old folks died off because they couldn't take that negative disposition into the promised land. That's the same thing that happens when I talk about, number one, millionaires understand what I call zero resistance. We all have to be able to get to a point of zero resistance so we can understand observation and visualization. So it's not either or. Remember with me, it's never option A or B. It's always option C. C is always all-inclusive. So the way that we become able to do A and B is we're going to do C. Excuse me. C is always zero resistance. Oh, and real quick, you guys know the payment link is, for me with everything I do is always the same. Website, masterteacher33.com. Click on the link that says donation and make the full payment, half the payment, or a quarter payment. That lets me know obviously which program that you are selecting. And then I will email you, send you out the little application, which is just instructions, and we'll get the party started. So what do I mean by zero resistance? We are all born with an innate resistance to change. It's not because we don't like change, even though a lot of us don't. It depends upon your numbers, obviously. If you're 5, man, change is what you do. You love change. You've just been programmed not to change because the dominant culture. It's like, what if you are a woman, and what if you change boyfriends every 2 or 3 months? How are you going to be perceived by mom and daddy? Well, that's not benevolent, we'll put it that way. Had to sneeze. I didn't want to sneeze you guys here, so I put the phone on me for a second. So that's not benevolent. For a woman to have multiple suitors at the same time, and for a woman to go through men, the way men, not for man goes through multiple females, society don't really, nobody really cares. He got game. He's a pimp. He's a Mac daddy. But if a woman does it, well, she's a hoe. Well, how come? So a woman will not do it, not because she can't, but because there is resistance from the dominant culture, which simply means what everybody, the collective consciousness. So we all choose to do things when there is motivation, inspiration, and approval. Now you guys remember these because these are very, very important. When you woke up this morning, everything that you've done so far today, including calling in today's show, was because you was either motivated to call in. You was encouraged, inspired, influenced to call in because you over, and understand it wasn't a requirement to call in to listen to today's show. So when we do these things because we choose to do these things, because we are highly, motivated. We're highly inclined. We're highly encouraged. We're highly inspired. So there's little resistance to why we do what we do. So we choose to do things when there is this motivation and this inspiration. There's some other things that motivate people. Payment. Somebody threatening you. Pain. But basically, we do things because we're motivated. But then there is something that happens that causes resistance. Resistance is always limiting beliefs. The idea that you will suffer, you will be denied access, there's going to be a limit. You're going to be limited from doing something that creates resistance. So the more resistance that you remove, then the more that you can naturally get into the flow of what you know. So one of the things that I do all the time is and I'm always aware of my limiting beliefs that makes me do things slow. If I remove all of my obstacles, if I have zero resistance to change, then I'm able to change really, really fast. So these obstacles to change is always limiting beliefs. Now I say limiting only because it doesn't allow you to move fast. Some of them could be considered beneficial. But for the sake of today's argument, we're simply talking about you need to remove or have what I call zero resistance. Not awareness, not consciousness, resistance. So a resistance is a belief system. It's in your head. And it's holding you back. So you can't move forward. So I'm telling you to do observation. Because as we talked about yesterday, there's some huge benefit to just observing good or acts of kindness. Not doing them, just observing them. And there's huge benefits that we'll add to the topic as we talk about today when we talk about visualization. As we all know, because there's thousands and thousands of stuff out about visualization. But what's not mentioned is observation. Although the cousins of visualization, they are different. So let's look at observation first. Everybody know what observation is, right? Because we do it all the time. It's kind of like obsession and oppression. Excuse me. So observation is this process that we go through. It's like observational learning. Some people learn better through observation. That's the act or the process of observing. So observation is an act. It's a process. It's an act and it's a process. But it's an act and a process of what? Observe or serve. So observation is the acquisition. That's why it's so powerful. Observation is actively acquiring from a primary source. Observation is way more powerful than visualization. Observation, you are literally acquiring the necessary information from, if you observe, if you were at real time observation is always real time. Visualization is usually past. So visualization is usually you record it and you watch. Observation is going to watch a football game live. That's why people get so amped up. You see those soccer games? Man, go to a soccer game, sit on the wrong side, or, man, this will be rioting. It gets crazy in those soccer games. Even in, like, some football games, people be dressed up, and I'm like, I'm not a groupie, but, I can't remember, man, I haven't been to a live football game. I don't know if I ever would go. I've done a few basketball because those tickets were given to us for free, but could you imagine the fact that your body has the ability to detect the key attributes and characteristics that you need to duplicate? You can literally acquire the skill set of a millionaire by observing a millionaire, which is one of the reasons that I'll be, and this is especially going to be extended out to the people that's already a part of the Master Teacher 33 Millionaire Maker Program, which is going to be, there's a lot of stuff I got planned, rolling out in stages. But the whole, I was going to go with bed and breakfast, but that's not nothing nowhere near what I'm doing, but I got to come up with an official title for you guys able to come here to the house and hang out with me and triple chocolate for, 3 days, 4 days, maybe a week. Excuse me. And I'm mentioned that before, before we got the house. That's why we got the extra bedrooms that we get. Then once the kids leave, the whole upstairs, there's 3 bedrooms up there, so I'll be able to do a lot more. I'm looking into now you can do Airbnb per room, which is crazy. I don't know if I would do that, but again, these are all options to be able to turn this into an asset, something that puts money into my pocket. So basically, I can have my mortgage paid. Again, I'm gonna pay this puppy off in less than 2 years because when I purchased it, that was the whole plan. So you can bring in, people are bringing in $1,000 a week by renting out one room in their house. Here in Texas, there's an app in our neighborhood for closet space. You got an extra closet, people will pay you to put their stuff in your closet. Wow, I even thought about that. So many options. But one of the things that I'll be doing is having you guys over so that way the observation, because as we mentioned yesterday, if you're not even involved in the act, you didn't have to do the act, because that's crazy to me. I mean, I understand it, but man, this is a whole new level. Just the process of observing real time releases dopamine, serotonin, melatonin, oxytocin, all of the feel-good chemicals, and it increases your immune system just by watching. That is crazy to me. But it also now helps me understand, this is kind of a little dark, but it gives you an understanding why some men like to watch their wives have sex with other men. When I first started, like, dudes get off on it, now I know why. Now looking at the studies and the research, it's crazy. But is it crazy? Well, that's a little crazy. But the same thing happens if you observe real-time a millionaire, or if you observe real-time a construction worker, and you go out there and you watch the construction worker lay the foundation, like I did at this house. I learned a lot. Because according to science, I'm not making this up, Harvard, Yale, Princeton, Brown, they all talk about acquisition of information. The acquiesce of information. Now, this is really for today's message. This I did not know until today. All the other stuff, I was down. I knew nothing of the acquisition of information, how the brain processes information. I'm still befuddled. I mean, I read the studies. There's a bunch of TikTok videos that this not Chinese, an Indian lady, and it's called the Hour of Greatness or something like that. It's a program, and the guy just in there. I love that program. They're always talking about like mind power and brain stuff, and they're just saying like all of these studies that they did. One study they put people in houses and stuff from the 50s, not even the 60s. Cars, food, everything. They separate them from society. And their whole mannerism, everything, their body, their whole mentality, everything resorted back to the 50s. Even though they were living in 2020. Their brain literally went to a reset. They call it the acquiescence of information. How the brain, through observation only, don't do nothing. You have the power, the act of acquiring or gaining possession of. I don't know if you understand. It means addition, the act or process of achieving mastery through observation. Man, the studies show that the guys who sit there and watch through observation and visualization gain the same amount of muscle mass as the guys who did the act. What? Now, I watch the studies, I research this every day. Because I'm watching it, I'm reading it, I'm teaching it, I'm doing it. But I'm blown away every day at how I'm able to override negative habit patterns and then manifest whatever it is that I want. Like, even today, just doing today's show, when everybody else in the family was out, daughter Janai is still like the morning when she's throwing up, and man, it's been almost a week and a half, almost 2 weeks for her. My wife was out for a week. Alec was out for at least a week. It hit me in 3 days. I mean, I stopped. The only thing that really happened, you guys noticed my voice. That's the only thing you could tell. This morning I woke up, had to change all the bed sheets. It was soaking wet. I was sweating. Got this morning, did my workout. Went outside, sit in the sun. Sometimes I go out there, especially if the neighbors are not around, I would literally lay flat in my yard and just sit and let my body reconnect, change my bowel rhythm. Now, you can do the research on the earthing already. Now, I've been doing this since 13. This is the portal of activation. This is how you're able to maintain high vibration. This is why I do it. This is why I teach it. And now I'm adding a whole new layer of understanding. That's the reason for sharing the details, because God is in the details, not the devil. So I can produce the fastest waves possible, gamma brain waves. So that way, even though something hits, we can't control what happens. We can control how we react to what happens. So when you can't do something physically, what's stopping you from doing it mentally? Which leads to, if you can't watch a live football game, you can watch a recorded football game on TV, on the internet. So there's nobody on this call that can tell me if they have a resistance, an obstacle, or a problem. Not possible. Why? Any problem that you could tell me that you have, I can go to YouTube and find a video that solves it right now. Any sickness like the oregano. That's just one example. Taking one drop of oregano oil and putting it underneath your tongue. Or the oregano breathing. Or the orange peel. That's a plant, excuse me, for everything. For every disease, sickness, known to man, that's a plant that cures. All that information was lost. Just do like Dr. Sebi, who went back and found it and have been sharing it with the world. So there is a way for you to find a recording device, which is why I do so many shows, which all of this information will be made available to you, especially in the Millionaire Maker program. But what we're doing is, I use the word money because, number one, it's a trigger for a lot of people, positively or negatively. I posted videos. I posted on YouTube. I mean, on Facebook. Yeah, I did. With my boy, and I always forget about Kenneth Copeland. I've been talking about, T.D. Jakes, Creflo Dollar, Joel Osteen. I'm not talking about Kenneth Copeland. And they was interviewing him, and they called him, and he was talking about he don't ride a plane because he don't want to be in no metal cylinder with a bunch of demons. And the way, if somebody's Facebook channel, look at the video, look at his eyes, look at the way he reacts to the reporter who catches him. Now, this is an old one, Inside Edition, 10 years old or something. I'm sure you guys have already seen it. But watch it again today with a newer, better observation. What's the word I cannot use for observation? Let's use the word technique. And it's crazy because I remember when I was in law enforcement, and we used to do stakeouts. You want to use that term. It's crazy because, there's so many different ways. I got to sneeze real quick. Hang on a second. Okay. Whew. Had to put you guys on mute. I don't want y'all to hear that. So there's a lot of different observation techniques you can call. You can sit somewhere. You got your binoculars out. You can put a wiretap on people's phones. Man, you can tap into, there's so many different ways to, observe someone or eavesdrop on people. Not necessarily talking about that from the perspective of observing someone who doesn't want to observe, doesn't want to be observed. I'm talking about, we live in an age of social media where everybody's been watched and recorded. It's crazy, whether you want to be or not. So right now, this is being recorded. Now everybody knows that everything you do on your cell phone, your cell phone is being recorded. If you guys know that, right? You know if you turn your cell phone off, it can't go off. Y'all know that, right? If you got a smart anything, you know it's never off. Everything in this house is, my wife has it on her phone. I didn't do it because that's what I've got a key for. Like, our front door can be opened with a cell phone. It also has a keypad on it where you go in and just have the code in, no key. I always use the key. The garage door can be opened with a phone. The refrigerator temperature can be changed. The microwave can be turned on and off. The oven can be turned on and off with your cell phone while you're in another state. The temperature, the AC, the heater, the back door, the alarm system, the $20,000. Every time I keep, like I said, when it was crazy when she got it, it was like, oh, it's only $5,000 thing. And now I'm looking at the bill and stuff, and I'm like, why does it keep going up? I think it was like 20 grand. All of that is controlled because it's all the internet of things. Everything has been observed already. So this platform of everything is already set up. We're talking about it on an individual level, not a global level, the way the dominant culture has it set up. The benefits of being connected to the internet of things. Let's just break it down to the internet of you. This is the power of what is called the pure vibration of manifestation. You see, brothers and sisters, when you begin to, let's use the dark side. If you get angry, and when you begin to get angry, well, anger is an emotion. Well, if you get really, really angry, you want to take action. Some people cry. Some people get up and they punch something, they kick something. So you begin to express that emotion. You begin to, what we call, go off. Well, the dominant culture knows that, so religion was primarily invented for black people to express their emotions so that when they didn't express it on massa and massas and Assyrians. And when you go to church on Sunday, what do you do in church? If you are apostolic, if you are holiness, the whole point of shouting, why do you shout in church? Now, Dr. Umar Johnson has a whole psychology behind it. I'm just giving you the basics of understanding what the dominant culture knows, which is what we're breaking down: observation and visualization create animation. It animizes you. It does what we call spirit. The animating principle of the body. I have no problem being animated because, as we said at the beginning of the show, I have zero resistance, obstacles, or problems because I don't have no limiting beliefs that are big enough. I have them, but I've dumbed them down enough that they don't prevent me from taking action. So I'm just like you. I don't want to hurt purposely my kids. I don't want to hurt my wife's feelings. I don't want to hurt my mother-in-law, my father-in-law, my in-laws. I don't want to purposely disrespect them. I'm not gonna go to their church and tell them this is no. My mother-in-law asks me all the time, hey, I see you on Facebook and send me some of your shows, son. I said, okay. Because I know the F-bombs that I be dropping and the way I be talking about Ebenezer Baptist, because she's heard a few. I saw her response. I know that they can't come out of their religious beliefs. So I'm not going to purposely, not if it's an accidentally, okay, it is what it is. Your job is to do the exact same thing. To be a millionaire, you got to understand that you are naturally motivated and inspired by God to take action. Natural. You don't have to do anything. There's a natural self-preservation. You have a natural, innate breath, animating principle of the body. You are naturally animated. So anything extra that you have to do, you have to check, why do you need to do that? Then you must also be cautious and aware of, like, when I exercise 3 times a day. Why would I exercise 3 times a day? Because I'm aware that I'm probably in a manic state. Why am I in a manic state? Well, I got an extra blessing, not a curse. Like I told you guys before, I believe mental illness is a spiritual gift. It's my personal beliefs. Don't quote me. But if you have a mental illness, you got to learn how to manage it, not medicate it. So I've learned how to use my bipolar disorder when I am in those ha-ha states, when I feel invincible and I feel like Superman, man, shows, books, one-on-ones, I'm balding like a mother blank rock star. But the dark side of that, I have low lows. So I'm aware so I don't make no decisions. No financial decisions, no relationship decisions, no educational decisions, and surely no health decisions when I'm in a low state. So when I'm in the low state, I compensate for it through and with observation and visualization. Man, when I'm in my dark days, I'm watching videos, I'm watching TV shows, I'm going anywhere. If there was Les Browns in town doing a self-help something, I'm there. I do not allow the church or anyone to give me a false sense of completion. That's religion. It's amazing. I remember I used to watch it. I know what I used to do. I used to go to church, praise and worship. I'd be in there crying. I was so emotional because I had so many problems. I didn't connect emotions and problems. I didn't know. You probably don't know either. How many people do you know? And it's crazy that people that win the lottery, get married, make a lot of money, bam, they leave the church. Why? They don't need that emotional release. So the church was designed to keep the slaves in line. That's all the reason for the church. At least in America. Let me say that again. You go to church, you don't want to be a slave, you're sick and tired, you got a little energy. So the master sees that, hey, if these Negroes got extra energy, they could rebel. So Master, he ain't stupid. The master knows. If I got 30 slaves on my plantation, and there's 10, that's overseas and me and my family, it's kind of like the whole South Africa thing. They said, no, I've never been, but supposedly, especially during Mandela's day, they outnumbered the Caucasians 100 to 1. And apartheid went on for years because they understood how to direct your energy into religion. Jump, shout, play the drums, play music. What's going on today? What's going on in America? Why is hip-hop? Because hip-hop is a place where you can go, and what do you do with it? Look at the lyrics. I'm going to shoot, kill, rob, F up the mother. Negroes express that anger in their music. So that way they don't express it on the white man. Oh, the white man ain't stupid. I mean, I ain't mad at it. If I was, I'd be doing the same thing. I would make sure that you had a lot of resistance and obstacles and problems. And then I would tell you, here's an outlet for you, brother. Music, comedy, sports. And we'll let some of y'all, cook and clean. Where do you see the Negroes that are prominent today? It's in music and sports. And, again, they let you cook and clean. How come? It's still slavery still here, bro. It ain't going nowhere. It's just like now you're paid slave. Well, you were getting paid back then, too. It was just you got a place to sleep. They wouldn't really pay you extra. What's the point? So what does it have to do with being a millionaire? Well, even though while you're a slave, you got to be able to observe freedom. Damn. What? Say that again. I missed it. Can you imagine Moses? I'm thinking about Moses. The story of Moses is a crazy story. Look at this fact. The dude is born in Hebrew. Pharaoh was going out, a woman was going out killing folks. His mama was smart enough to put him in a basket, throw him down the river. An alligator could have came by and scooped him up. But they made sure, I'm assuming, that it was close enough to Pharaoh. So Pharaoh could scoop him up. Now look, he's born a Hebrew. They was killing him. So she wanted to keep him alive. So he goes over there, and he's raised the whole time thinking he's Egyptian. Till he gets a little older. Then he has a conundrum. He finds out that, oh snap, I ain't Egyptian, I'm a Hebrew. But he knows everything about the Egyptians now. Because he was raised, but it was unknowingly. But he got a chance to engage in the acquisition of knowledge. I don't know how you have engaged in the acquisition of knowledge in your lifetime. But you have. Some of you guys are like me. Your acquisition of knowledge came from the dominant culture calls traumatic lived experiences. The number one way to program a mind is with trauma. It's like it works so good because the brain departmentalizes in order to survive. So it puts you in a state of survival, not thrival. But instead of creating trauma-induced mind control, where you can use the trauma, and now you can have trauma-induced. You can use the same trauma for spiritual goals. That's what I did. I took the traumatic lived experience, and I took my trauma bonding. I'm bonded with trauma. Since I'm programmed automatically, I got certain triggers that are automatically built in. All I do is monetize. That's how I became a millionaire. Because it's automatic. It is easy for me. Easy. Everything I do is easy. So what I'm employing and encouraging everybody is the Millionaire Maker program is a deep dive into the dark side of spirituality. So y'all can get rid of this idea that there is such a thing called the dark side. There is such a thing called evil. See, trauma bonds you to higher connectivity. It's very interesting. So I don't think the enemy over understood the consistent expression of energy. I don't think, there's no way the enemy understood unless he, she, it thought that you would never ever get to the point where you could understand energy. Because once you understand energy, you know that energy is not good or bad. It just is. Energy can be used, good or bad. So when there are things that make you emotional, you should get a choice to take that pure vibrational energy and use it to manifest positivity. So if I get really angry, I don't cry anymore. I don't have feelings of anger and outbursts anymore. I don't jump in my car and drive recklessly around. I don't punch holes in walls. I don't kick the cat. I don't have any of those problems. Because I understand that energy can be channeled anywhere I want. So even when a negative, quote unquote, I transmute it into a positive. Your job is to understand that all what we call emotions are emoting. That's really what it is. Emoting, M-O-E-M-O-T, I-N-G. All emoting, you have the power if you understand observation and visualization. So the habit, you got to get into the habit of whenever there's an increase in emotion, to practice the science. And again, we're going to get into the details of it in the Millionaire program of using observation, if it's available. If not, you always have the ability to do visualization. So your habit of observation has a way greater influence in your life than the habit of visualization. But if observation is not available, if you don't have a rich uncle, if you don't have a healthy person you can observe, so what do you eat? Like I remember when I first started, like way back in the day, Sister Ella was very instrumental. She's been a vegan all her life, but I never had. I'm sure as a kid, I know I was encouraged enough for years to come out with a cookbook. Same thing with like Dr. Martinet. There are some people who Dr. Martinet came out, and I wasn't a big chitlin fan, but the fact that there was vegan chitlins. And then just recently for Thanksgiving, she made a vegan turkey. Now what? Like to me, that blows my mind away. So there's a whole bunch of people just like me that all vegans think we know how to make a vegan turkey. I'd be vegan too if I could observe and visualize so I could acquire the necessary skill set so I can have a variety. When I do my vegan stage, my rotation diet, I eat salads. It should get boring after about a week. But there's a whole bunch of other stuff that you can eat besides salad. So, if I go to the internet, I got cookbooks, but then even that gets limited. There's people that's been vegans for 30 years. All that knowledge, you got 30 years of making different dishes. If you're a vegan and you've been doing this shit for a while, man, you should have at least 3 or 4 cookbooks out. Every holiday, you should be taking pictures. Put that shit together. If you're a vegan, you should go through your Facebook channel and timeline. Because I'm pretty sure that holiday you probably feel like I can take some pictures and post on Facebook. That's kind of the main reason I do a lot of that stuff. And so that way I have it on record. And if I need pictures, I can go back in my Facebook and I can put now I have it on my computer. But I also have it on Facebook. The point is, we have this ability to be able to observe and connect with people who are already at where we want to be. Excuse me. And when we do that, that allows us to move forward over any resistance, any obstacles, and any problems. And these two, observation and visualization. You know, I didn't talk too much about visualization. There's not a soul on this call that don't know what visualization is. We don't have to explain visualization. We do have to explain observation. Because observation is more than just looking at somebody. Observation is like observational learning. It's the ability for you to be able to watch and then mimic, if you want to use that term. But the biggest part of this is it's an automatic process done by the brain, based upon science. Now, depending on the amount of time that we have when we get to the Millionaire Maker program, we may go in and watch some of the videos or go deeper into the science of how the brain, especially the CA1 and CA2 of Amon's horn and all of this stuff, the biology of it, excuse me, so you guys can have a deeper understanding. If you guys need that level of understanding, I think most of you guys are just like me. The fact that the science is out and shows that the act of acquiring and gaining possession of a skill set can be done through observation. Bam, that's all I need, bro. I mean, you gotta convince me. You gotta I'm not saying you lie. Because I've done them in football. Sorry about that. Have to sneeze again. In football, I gotta think I learned all it. I had one of the greatest because his name was Clarence James. He's from Oklahoma. He played for the Kansas City Chiefs when he played pro. He was my high school football coach. Man, we called him CJ. Coach James was at least 6'2", 6'3", 250, and he was, like for us as kids, he was old and washed up. The dude still could smoke all of us in the 40s. He was the greatest athlete that I've personally ever seen. He was my coach in high school. Before, in every practice, he would run the drill himself and show us the footwork to be a defensive back, same position that Deion Sanders played when he played in the NFL. And then he would say, y'all do it. Even back then, through the process of demonstration, the observing, not the visualizing, not sitting back, using your imagination to visualize, you can do that too. Remember, this is not either or. This is both. We don't have to choose. We can have our cake and we can eat it too. So I have been using both observation and visualization to create manifestation. And it works. So the point of today's message is what we talked about yesterday, when we talked about the benefits of being a provider and a observer of acts of random kindness. Because when you perform an act and when you observe, the brain and the body activate your nerves and release the chemicals as if you did the act yourself. So let me close by saying that again a couple of times so that way it can register. So I need you to say to yourself, okay, hold up, how about that? Are you telling me? Now we should already know this just from like we all know. Watching, pornography, watching a movie, going to a praise and worship service in church. I know y'all can relate to that. When someone goes up on the stage and they're giving a testimony in church of how God has brought them through, especially one of those testimonies where it's like you knew the person and you knew the situation that they was going through and it didn't look too good. His back was up against the wall. Especially, I like the healing ones. And I've been in church all my life. I've seen someone one time, I was like, damn, that fool's in a wheelchair. Now he's walking around. I've seen a few of those. You can give glory to whomever, but how did it make you feel? Well, if you're like me, you sit in church, you saw it, you was crying too. You was excited, you felt, and you're like, man, if God did it for him, he can do it for me. That emotion that is released when you observe acts of profound miracles. The miracle doesn't have to happen to you. You just gotta watch it happen to somebody else. Bam! Now that miracle is inside of you. And it works in any area. Whether it's wealth, health, wisdom, or relationships. Excuse me. That has been the secret to my manifestation. What is it again, Doc? I tell you guys all the time, I do a lot of research. I put a lot, every time we go on family vacation, when we go, I make sure I got my laptop and an internet connection. If I gotta take my own internet with me. Because I'm always in a state where I'm able to observe wealth, health, wisdom, and get my toes curled every single day. As much as possible. Now, can you stay up all the time? Are you supposed to be positive all the time? Are you supposed to be like, upbeat and like rah, 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 like, yeah, cheerleader all the time? There are some people who say, blah, 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 you're supposed to be positive all the time. I'm not part of that camp. I have, especially in my case, I'm just like you. I have some days I wake up, I'm like, why am I pissed off? I literally have to ask, this is real. I have to ask myself, hold up, time out, why you got money in your pocket, especially now, you got the dream car, dream house, everything that you wrote down, everything that you went after, you've manifested. Why are you pissed off? Y'all have to ask yourself this question, I'm telling you. See, resistance is limiting thoughts. It's limiting ideals. It's the ideal that there is a limit to you. Something is stopping you from doing what you want to do. So what is it? The whole purpose of the Millionaire Maker program is to address that issue. So what's stopping you from being a millionaire? See, when you are operating at a zero resistant state of mind, you need no motivation and no inspiration. Because it's a natural flow. It's natural. Growth is natural. But we live in a environment that's cyclical. So there's winter, spring, summer, and fall. So when it's winter, you have to understand that you can create a bubble or environment where you are not exposed to the effects of winter. I'm not saying you don't go through it. So right now, is there anybody, here in Texas, we've had this first hard freeze. Now, my wife lost a lot of her greens and stuff. She had one big banana tree, and I think it's gone. I mean, it looks dead. She's trying to save it. She's out there right now trying to see if she can save it. But we were outside when it was 20 degrees. Where were we at? Well, we was in the house. The whole purpose of the house is to do what? Prevent you from experiencing the effects of winter. So we all grown folks on this call. Everybody has bad days from the perspective of it's cyclical, bro. You can't consciously remain positive all day, every day, 24/7, 365. If you can, I need some of that you drink. Because that's some good shit. Now, can I do that fake jovial Christian stuff? How you doing, brother? Praise Jesus. You're doing great, brother. Praise the Lord. You just curse your wife out of the parking lot. And now you missed a super set. Sit down with that crazy breath. Now I can do that. In fact, I'm damn good. I'm not gonna lie. Got to sneeze again. There's not too many people good at fake Christianese in me. But brothers and sisters, the correct way is for you to put yourself in a position that when you start to notice that you start to feeling down, you have to start asking yourself those questions. This is called self-analyzation. There is an equilibrium and a state of peace that you can maintain, even in the midst of deep feelings of depression. Because those feelings are coming from someone. And some of us have chemical imbalances in our brain. I'm one of those people. But just because you have a chemical imbalance in your brain, you can do observation and visualization. What does that do? According to what we do in all those studies, what I've been doing since 13, I honestly believe kept me out of prison. Got me to where I'm at today. I'd be dead or in prison if it wasn't for my ability to learn how to self-medicate my bipolar disorder. I still do it. Because then I'm coming to the end of my dark days. Every year for 25 years, during this time of year, I was homeless. January and February, I will come back around, beg the ex-wife to take me back. March, April, and May, I get a new job. The family be balling June, July, and August. Then September hit, everything get repoed. I find me a new boo-boo, and we start the cycle all over again. I don't know what the fuck I'm talking about. I didn't read it in the book. My life was a freaking circus for 40, almost 50 years, excuse me, until I figured it out. That's what the Millionaire Makeup program is all about. Don't get rid of your crazy. You're going to need that crazy. You keep that crazy. We're going to monetize that crazy. Crazy don't work for you now. And all you got to do is same thing I do. We're going to, when the crazy show up, visualize, observe success. When crazy is gone, we're going to continue to visualize, observe, and implement success. So when crazy is here, I don't try to take action. When crazy leaves, bam, that's not take action. See, the benefits of doing and observing random acts of kindness: serotonin, melatonin, oxytocin, endorphins, all the feel-good chemicals, excuse me, increase in your immune system. This is biological and it is spiritual. And once you open and understand how to create your own internal systems, which is the whole point of the Master Teacher 33 Millionaire Program, is to work with each person individually. We're going to do all the quick stuff, but the individual one-on-one is going to be a deeper level of over-under understanding to go in, find how your negative habit pattern works, and take that negative habit pattern, which is your current habit pattern, and then we are going to optimize, maximize, spiritualize through observation and visualization. That's all I did. Well, all right, y'all. Y'all know I love you. Ain't nothing y'all can do about it. Everybody on this call, you are an individual expression of God on earth. And God don't make junk. All we got to do is get in line with our God-given design, and we're guaranteed to shine. But I appreciate you. See you later on tonight. God bless.